Hey guys, I just got out of the shower. As you can see, my hair's still kind of wet. Anyway, today I'm going to be reviewing the 10th episode. We're halfway through the season, and more than halfway through the whole series. Because there's 40 episodes in total, and I've reviewed about. This is going to be like my 30th episode, I believe, and then only 10 more to go. So I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, today I'm going to be reviewing the episode, season 2, episode 10, called Northwest Mansion Mystery. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. Alright, this is the synopsis. The Northwests are having a practice dinner for their annual party taking place the following day. Suddenly, various objects around the manor start floating and attacking Pacifica and her parents. Pacifica is the blonde girl from the Gulf War episode, or at least fake blonde. The three duck under the table for cover, and a newspaper falls by Preston, showing Dipper fighting a giant bat with a police taser, and Preston says he thinks he's found the perfect person to help with the Northwest ghost problem. Later, Dipper prepares for a marathon of ghost harassers at the Mystery Shack when Mabel, Candy, and Grenda interrupt him to watch the news coverage of the Northwest party. Afterwards, all three girls express interest in going to the party and say how much they envy Pacifica. There's a knock on the door, and Dipper opens the door to see Pacifica, who says that she needs his help. Dipper refuses to help Pacifica due to her disdain, I don't know what that means, and cruelty to the Pines in the past. Mabel then runs to the open door, greets Pacifica, and pulls Dipper's side. She pleads him to help with the ghost problem, as it is an opportunity for her and her friends to go to the party, which is their dream. In quotes. Dipper reluctantly agrees, and he returns to Pacifica, telling her that he will help her if she gives him 3 invitations to her family's party. Pacifica begrudgingly hands him 3 invitations. I don't know what begrudgingly means, which he accepts with a grin. Mabel then instructs Grenda and Candy to find the glue gun, as they will be making dresses. The 5 arrive at the Northwest Manor, and Mabel awes over how fancy everything in the mansion is, even going as far to touch the face of a butler, amazed by the family's fancy man. She and her friends grab a gift basket, which is full of live quails, and happily run off as Preston and Priscilla Northwest approach Dipper and Pacifica. Preston speaks to Dipper, happy to see him and asking if he is sure that he can help fix their problem. Dipper assures him that he can, and Preston is glad to hear it. As Dipper looks around the mansion, Preston subtly whispers to his daughter, asking if Dipper is really going to be wearing his cute current attire, and she tells her father that she will take care of it. Pacifica gets Dipper changed into a tuxedo and helps him tie his bow tie. Dipper asks her who her family thinks they're impressing with all the pageantry. I don't know what that means either. Pacifica answers with everyone stating that high standards are what makes the Northwest family great. Dipper fiddles with a tassel on one of the portraits of Pacifica's ancestors as she walks away and smugly replies that he thought it was lying about funding the town. Pacifica sharply tells him to stop touching the tassel. Meanwhile, Grenda finds the guest list for the party and calls Mabel and Candy over to look. They look through the book and noticing Marius von Funshauser, an attractive young baron from Austria. Mabel expresses her interest in Marius, but Grenda suggests that he might be out of their league. Candy agrees, and the 3 decide to make a deal that none of them will flirt with Marius. They all agree, and they start laughing nervously. Pacifica brings Dipper to the room with the most ghostly activity. Dipper examines the journal, stating that the Northwest ghost is probably only a category 1 on a 10 category scale. Dipper looks at a picture of a lumberjack above the fireplace. Lightning strikes, and when the light fades, the picture is empty. He tries to get Pacifica's attention, but she screams. He turns to see her staring in horror at the taxidermy animal heads mounted on the wall, which are now oozing blood out of their eyes and mouths and orifices. They scream as the big fire came from the fireplace as the animal heads begin chanting ancient sins in a deep voice, and items start floating in the air. Pacifica asks Dipper what is going on. Dipper realizes that the ghost is not a category 1, but a category 10, and they both scream. The animals continue to chant, and Pacifica grabs Dipper by the shoulder and begins to shake him, asking him what they should do. Dipper assures her that things can't get any worse, and suddenly the flames in the fireplace grow large again. I feel like whenever you say things can get worse in a horror movie, well, I guess this isn't really horror, but like in any like scary thing. I guess this is a little bit scary, not too scary. But I feel like whenever you say things can't get any worse, they always get worse. Um, like you should never say that because then things will immediately get worse. That's what I've noticed and stuff like that. Um, what was I saying? And suddenly the flames in the fireplace grow large again. The two hide under a table, and a skeleton emerges from the fireplace and grows flesh, revealing itself to be a lumberjack with a flaming hair and beard. Um, the ghost states that he smells a northwest, and Pacifica tells Dipper to read through his dumb book to find a solution. Dipper consults his journal for guidance, but the only advice he can find under the section on Category 10 ghosts is pray for mercy. The table then floats up, revealing them. The ghost spots the two and they scream. Back at the party, the Northwest butler opens the main doors to let the first of the party guests arrive. Preston greets the group, consisting of dukes, duchesses, sultans, and sportsmen, and the reclusive 102-year-old mayor of Gravity Falls, Mayor Bethel Fufflefumpter. Soon after, Marius arrives and Grenda stops Mabel, who's basically about to throw herself at him, from getting to Marius, reminding her that they made a truce. Candy agrees and then asks Granny to go get them some fancy napkins. After Grenda has left, Candy tells Mabel that she's not sure she can keep the truce, as Marius is too adorable. Mabel agrees but wonders how they can woo him. Candy suggests they flirt as a team, and when Mabel asks about Grenda, Candy expresses that she loves Grenda, but that her aggressive flirting style might scare him off. Elsewhere, Pacifica and Dipper run through the courtyard and back into the manor, all in an attempt to escape the ghost while skimming the journal as they flee. Dipper learns that a Category 10 ghost can be defeated by entrapping it within a silver mirror. He spots a silver mirror in a room and runs for it, but Pacifica stops him, saying that if he runs into the room, that he will track mud onto her parents' favorite carpet pattern. Incredulous, I don't know what that means. I don't know what most of these words mean. I don't know. These are very complicated words. Dipper insists that he go in, but Pacifica firmly states that they cannot. Dipper angrily asks Pacifica why she's so afraid of her parents, but she insists that he wouldn't understand. Dipper tries to get into the room, and Pacifica tries to restrain him, and the two end up falling back through a backless picture frame into another room. They end up in a dark room filled with old objects draped in sheets and stored away. Dipper wonders where they are, and Pacifica tells him that she never knew this room existed. She happily states that the ghost doesn't seem to be anywhere in sight, but as she says this, the ghost emerges from a painting behind her and attacks her. Dipper spots a silver mirror that has been knocked over onto the floor, picks it up, and points it at the ghost, trapping it before it can get to Pacifica. The force pushes Pacifica and Dipper out of the window and down a hill. They recover, and Pacifica asks if Dipper caught the ghost. He looks at the mirror to find the ghost has been trapped. Pacifica hugs him in gratitude, only to separate in awkwardness once she realizes just what it is she's doing. After Dipper is congratulated by Pacifica's parents, he gets ready to depart. Pacifica asks why he isn't going to stay since he's at the world's best party, playfully calling him dummy. Dipper insists that he needs to exorcise the ghost and attempts to suavely leave. I don't know what that means. Walking straight into a pillar in the process. He and Pacifica laugh, and then he departs. As he walks away, Dipper happily muses that Pacifica isn't as bad as he thought she was. Just then he hears the ghost begin laughing from inside the mirror. Dipper looks at the ghost, asking him why he's so smug, and the ghost says that Dipper has been tricked, and that he reminds him of himself 150 years ago. The ghost then tells Dipper his story. When he was alive, the ghost was one of a group of lumberjacks who were previously promised attendance to Northwest yearly parties in exchange for their help with building Northwest Manor. After years of hard work and sacrifice, the mansion was finished, but the Northwest broke their promise, locked the townspeople out of their party, and he was subsequently killed in a mudslide that was a result of the construction. Cursing the Northwest family with his dying breath, the lumberjack swore to return in 150 years and exact vengeance on them unless they keep their promise. A curse that Nathaniel Northwest wrote down and has since been passed down through the Northwest family until now. When Dipper discovers this, he angrily confronts the Northwest after manipulating him to catch the ghost so they could escape justice and choosing to endanger everyone rather than break the curse themselves, despite knowing exactly how to do so. Preston simply points out his high status, saying that the elite that the elite, sa- saying that the elite who were attending his party would not attend if they were forced to mingle with the common folk. Um, Outraged, Dipper states that he was right about the Northwest all along, and then accused Pacifica as being just as bad as her parents, saying that she's just another link in the world's worst chain. Pacifica tries to explain herself, but her father rings his bell, and she stops. Preston tells Dipper to enjoy the party, as it will be the last time he and his kind ever attend in the mansion before he gets permanently banned from it. Dipper then angrily storms off to dispose of the ghost. Outside, Dipper is reading from his journal to perform an exorcism on the ghost. The ghost tries to reason with Dipper to let him out and take his revenge. While Dipper expresses his sympathy, he explains that his sister is attending the party so he can't let the ghost go free. The ghost concedes and makes one last request, asking Dipper if he will let him see the trees one final time. Dipper agrees, which is pretty stupid of him, as if he hadn't done that, then everything probably would have been fine, but Dipper had to be an idiot. No offense, Dipper, but, you're pretty stupid for doing that. It annoys me when characters in horror movies, I guess this isn't really horror, but like in any kind of like scary things, make stupid decisions. Really, that's one thing that pisses me off most in horror movies and like scary stuff. When characters make really stupid decisions, like Chrissy not checking the back seat in Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning. That could have easily meant that she would have lived if she had just checked the back seat of the car, because then Leatherface. Oh, yes, spoiler alert. But you've probably seen that. I don't know. Have I reviewed Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the beginning on this channel? I don't know. But if I haven't, I will review it. I'll get down to it at some point. Anyway, let's get back to this. Dipper agrees and holds up the mirror towards the trees. The ghost begins to laugh, and the metal of the mirror becomes hot. Stunned by the sudden intense heat, Dipper drops the mirror, shattering it and freeing the ghost, who then flies off to the mansion. Back at the party, Mabel and Candy commence their plan to win over Marius. Mabel begins flirting with Marius, but after accidentally mistaking his Austrian heritage for Australian, she has Candy tag herself out. Candy pays Marius a compliment, and Mabel then chimes in. The two begin arguing about whose turn it is, and Marius awkwardly walks away. Brenda then approaches, having seen the entire display, and demands to know why they were breaking the truce. Candy and Mabel explain that Brenda's flirting can come off as overly aggressive. Brenda, highly offended, grabs Marius' attention, tells him he has something on his shirt, and then flicks his nose when he looks down. The three girls then angrily walk away from each other, leaving Marius alone, touching his nose and blushing. Elsewhere, Preston is with the rest of the guests, preparing to make a toast, when suddenly all of the glasses shatter. The ghost appears, stating that he shall have his revenge, and Mayor Fumpter happily greets the ghost, who he thinks is the Grim Reaper, saying that he had been wondering when he would arrive. One time my grandpa, he claimed to have seen the Grim Reaper. He's passed away by now. He died a while back when I was like probably around 8 or 7. I really miss him. So did my grandma die, but not on my mom's side. On my mom's side, both my grandparents are alive, but on my dad's side, both of my grandparents are dead. And I really miss them. But one time my grandpa claimed to have saw the Grim Reaper, and he said, "No, it's not my time." And I believe him. I believe in ghosts, and I believe in the afterlife. I believe in heaven. I believe in God. I'm not 100% sure that all that stuff is real, but I've experienced the paranormal before, and it can be pretty scary. Anyway, let's get back to this. The ghost cut him off, striking him with a beam of some sort of magic that turns him and his wheelchair into wood. The wooden mayor falls to the side, and the guests are thrown into a panic. The ghost brings the taxidermy animals to life, and the animals chase the partygoers as the ghost turns them all into wood. Dipper rushes back to the mansion. He opens the door to find a man crawling towards the exit, holding a hand out to Dipper as he begs for help, and then turning into wood. Dipper yelps in fright, and upon hearing the ghost say that the only way to break the curse is for Northwest to open the gates, the townsfolk realizes that he must find Pacifica. Dipper returns to the hidden room where they had trapped the ghost earlier that night, where he finds a despondent, I don't know what that means, Pacifica sitting alone, flicking a flashlight on and off. He quickly explains that the ghost escaped and is turning everyone into wood, and that he had just started rhyming for some reason. Dipper grabs her hand to lead her away, saying that he needs her help, but she pushes them away. Pacifica reveals that she now knows why the room is hidden away, and shows Dipper portraits of her ancestors committing bad deeds, explaining that the room is a painted record of every horrible thing that her family's ever done. Upset that she lied to Dipper because she was too afraid to disobey her parents, Pacifica admits that he was right about her being just another link in the world's worst chain. A guilty Dipper apologizes and assures her that she doesn't have to be like her parents and that it's not too late to change. Interrupting the heartfelt moment, however, the ghost shouts that it is in fact too late. Dipper and Pacifica run back to the main room where they see all of the party guests, including Mabel and her friends, have been turned to wood. Dipper grabs a silver reflective surface to attempt to trap the ghost again, but as Pacifica watches in horror, he is struck by the ghost's magic and turned into wood. His scream fading into the room while transforming. He makes the same posture as what the shapeshifter into the bunker predicted that his final form would be. Yeah, that and that was a really good episode. If you haven't seen that episode, check it out. It's season 2, episode 2, I believe. Pretty sure. But yeah, check out that review if you haven't. You probably have because you probably won't been watching them in order. I don't know how YouTube recommends videos. I don't know if they recommend them in order. Anyway, Pacifica becomes enraged by this and yells to the ghost that she will open the gates if he will turn everyone back to normal. The ghost agrees, but just as Pacifica is about to pull the lever to open the gates, her parents emerge from a trap door. Having heard of what Pacifica said to the ghost, he tells her not to open the gates, insisting they have a reputation to uphold. Then, in terms, tells her while her mother, hold on, sorry. While her mother, panic room, with her mother, the butler, and him. Pacifica hesitates, and her father starts ringing the bell to make her get in. After looking at Dipper and struggling with the ingrained response to not disobey her parents, she forces her will through and opens the gate, causing the townsfolk to flood in. Pleased that Pacifica upheld her ancestors' promise, the ghost restores the people to normal and leaves peacefully, touched by her kindness. As the townfolk enter the mansion, they begin to celebrate, causing havoc in the process. A horrified Preston objects to the riffraff, trying to calm them down. Meanwhile, Brenda, Candy, and Mabel, who have recovered, all apologize to each other and make up with a hug. Marius then interrupts, asking to talk to Brenda. He tells her that he can't stop thinking about her and that he admires her bold and daring personality. He asks Brenda if he can have give her his phone number, and Brenda, stating that she doesn't have a phone, happily tells him that he can write his number on her face. Mabel and Candy stare at the spectacle, equal parts happy and shocked. Candy says that she is going to be a bridesmaid at the future wedding, and Mabel quickly adds that she will be co-bridesmaid. Afterwards, Dipper and Pacifica are seen standing together enjoying each other's company. Dipper states that if her parents are mad at her after the party, saying is how it is not much more exciting than they're idiots. Pacifica tells them to enjoy it while it lasts, as her parents will probably make sure that this doesn't happen the following year. Seeing that she is disappointed, Dipper cheers Pacifica up by pointing out that they are standing on her parents' favorite carpet, paddling with their muddy shoes. Pacifica stomps her feet on the carpet to make it muddier, and she and Dipper start laughing and throwing things on the carpet to make it dirtier. Now happy, Pacifica tells them that she needs to go and find someone to clean up their mess. Once Pacifica has left, Dipper is approached by old man McGucket, who seems to be back to his old crazy self, when suddenly he grabs Dipper by the arm and pulls him aside. McGucket quickly becomes serious, putting on his glasses and explains to Dipper that he has repaired the laptop and believes that something big is going to happen soon, suggesting that it may be the end times. Dipper sighs, not wanting to have to deal with this after what he has just been through. He tells McGucket that they will talk about it tomorrow and that... McGucket pulls... Dipper walks away, leaving McGucket alone and worried. McGucket pulls out the laptop and he opens it to reveal a countdown on the screen, now with roughly 21 hours and 30 minutes left to go. He says something big is coming. Behind him, there is a tapestry on the wall depicting people bowing down to what appears to be Bill's cipher, foreshadowing the terrible event Bill has planned. In the end credits, two of the original guests that Preston let in earlier walk into the coat closet to share an intimate moment. They close the door and the man says, "You can drop the act, Trigger." They take off their disguises, revealing that they're in fact Agent Trigger and Agent Powers, the two FBI agents from Karaoke who had come to Gravity Falls to investigate the anomalies that had been detected there. Powers says it's time to move forward with their plans to stop the strange anomalies. Power asks Trigger for his phone, but Trigger states that he doesn't have it. Power insists that he gave Trigger the phone, and the two proceed to argue like a married couple. Suddenly, the door opens and Tamri walks in. Seeing Powers and Trigger, who's still wearing a dress, she appears to be unfazed, stating that she's not even going to ask, and leaves. And that was Season 2, Episode 10 of Gravity Falls, called The Northwest, Season 2, Episode 10, called The Northwest Mansion Mystery. I'd give this one a 4.5 out of 5. It wasn't the best one, but it was up there. And this has been one of my, probably the longest Gravity Falls episode review. I have to get going now, but I'll see you guys next time. Bye.